You're listening to the Exploring Fitness Podcast, Episode 4. In this episode, we sit down with one of the fittest humans on the planet to get some of their insights into the world of elite fitness competition. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm Dan Dalator. In over 10 years of experience as a clinician and a coach, I've worked with hundreds of athletes to help them improve their health, wellness, and fitness, but still feel that there is so much more for all of us to learn. This is a podcast dedicated to furthering our understanding of health, wellness, fitness, and how to apply these concepts into our daily lives to create true and lasting changes in your fitness and health. This is the Exploring Fitness Podcast. We've previously discussed that, by definition, the fittest individual is the one that can perform well across a wide range and variety of tests, or the individual with the highest overall work capacity across broad time and modal domains, as the definition of fitness proposed by CrossFit. Every year, the CrossFit competitive season starts with the CrossFit Open. Historically, it has been a collection of anywhere between 3 to 5 workouts spaced out over the course of 3 to 5 weeks. And literally, anyone is capable of signing up, logging their scores, and getting ranked, with the possibility to move on to subsequent competitions, including online quarterfinals, in-person semifinals, and ultimately the CrossFit Games. The CrossFit Open this year started with 344,396 individuals registered through CrossFit.com. After the 3 open workouts, the top 25% of those individuals moved on to the online quarterfinals. After the 4 online quarterfinals workouts, the top 40 men and top 40 women moved on to the regional semifinals competitions. Let's do the math on that. 40 men and 40 women make the semifinals per region, so that's 80. Worldwide, there are 7 different regions this year. So 80 times 7, that's 560. Divide that by the total number of registered athletes. To make it to the semifinals, you need to be in the top 0.16%. And that's just of registered athletes. There are literally probably more than double that who still participate in the workouts but don't officially register through CrossFit.com. Our guest today is one of those top 0.16% of athletes in the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode. Our guest on this episode has completed in the top 99% of the CrossFit Open between 2015 to 2024. He's been to the regionals 3 times, including in 2017, where he finished 6th, narrowly missing qualifying for the games by 1 spot. He's made it to the semifinals 3 times, including 2021, where he finished in 8th, and 2022, where he finished in 5th place, qualifying him to compete in the 2022 CrossFit Games, where he finished as the 35th fittest male in the world. Most recently, he just finished competing in the 2024 North America East semifinals just about 9 days ago at the time of this recording. Austin Spencer, welcome to the Exploring Fitness Podcast.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here.
Did I miss anything?
Well, you didn't say that I got 28th place at semis this year.
Well, he did get 28th place.
Not my best showing, but that's all right.
I figured I'd let you bring that one up if you wanted to.
That's all.
First question I ask every guest: what is fitness to you?
Man, fitness is it's consistent movement, like I think it's fitness needs to be like a part of your life just like sleeping and eating is, like it doesn't matter what type of fitness you're into. I think it just needs to be consistent, something that you enjoy and that you always go back to so that you can keep living your life the way you want to live it.
Love it. Next, can you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, some about your background, what you're currently doing?
Yeah. So I am now 31 years old. I started, I've played sports my whole life. I've played a lot of different sports. High school was soccer, lacrosse, and indoor track. In college, I played rugby, and that's where I found CrossFit as well. And yeah, I've just been like basically since college, I've been doing the CrossFit thing. So it's been 11 or 12 years or something like that. But when I found it in college, it was definitely like I was looking for something to compete in. I didn't know what else to do. Like I had rugby, but at the same time, like that was new to me. So I was just looking for like a athletic outlet to be competitive, and didn't seem like college sports were like going in that direction. Like everything I've done in my life, like I wanted to be like a professional at that thing. So like when I was younger, like I grew up skateboarding and I wanted to be like a professional skateboarder. So like starting with that and then soccer and lacrosse, like I just wanted to be like the best. And none of those sport like I was good at all my sports, but I wasn't like incredible. Like especially with the sports where there's a lot of like technical skill involved, like in lacrosse, like your ability to like stick handle and shoot and all that stuff. And soccer, like your footwork is super important. um and even skateboarding, like I was good at it, but I was definitely not like anywhere near like professionals, like what they can do. And it it was funny, like when I found CrossFit, uh I was like, man, so you just have to be an athlete. Like that was just like my thing my whole life. Like I was a really good athlete. Like I was fast, I was strong, I was, intelligent on the field or whatever, but I never had like the intricate little skills that I needed to excel in those sports. And CrossFit felt like that thing that I could actually show everything that I have. So yeah, since like sophomore year of college, I've just been chasing that fitness dream and loving it.
So how long into starting CrossFit did you realize like, oh, I could I could be really good at this?
Literally like the first video I saw. So my roommate at the time was showing me videos of like Rich Froning and Dan Bailey like working out, and I was just like watching them, and I was like, man, I actually think I could be like really good at this thing. Um, and like because I was watching those guys, like I knew about like I instantly learned about like the CrossFit games and all that stuff. So it wasn't really like the affiliate side of things that I got into first. It was the sport. So and we were at college too, so like I instantly started looking up like gyms and like how to do CrossFit and all that stuff, and we would go to like our school gym and do like Grace every day. Like we were just like didn't know how to do it correctly, so it would take us like 8 minutes to do, and it would be like a power clean and a strict press at 135, and it would just be like slow and whatever, but we thought we were doing CrossFit. And then when I came home over like winter break, I was like looking up gyms in Portland, and found like Misfit CrossFit MF. And I thought the colors were cool, like the black and purple, and the name was kind of crazy, like Misfit. So I was like, all right, we're going there. And then just it all took off from there. So like literally from the get go, like I just wanted to compete in CrossFit, and I thought I could be good at it. So yeah,
So the first time you were doing Grace, it was taking you like 8 minutes.
yeah. But we were
What's your
literally doing it
PR?
like
Yeah,
every day or every
what's your
minute.
PR, Grace?
Now it's actually it was funny. So the year that Caroline went to the games for the first time, I think it was 21. I went to like watch her compete, and while we were there, like they have like these little side events going on, and one of them was like they were doing Grace, and I was eating like a smoothie bowl at the time, and my friend was like, asked me if I wanted to do it. And so I just jumped into the workout and did it unbroken in like a minute, I don't know, a minute 10 or something like that. So quite a bit faster than, than I used to do it.
with smoothie bowl
Yeah,
in your
yeah. And
stomach.
I thought I was going to puke, but I won a sweet little Yeti coffee cup. So nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for those who might not be familiar, Caroline is Austin's wife, who is also an amazingly freakish athlete
Yep.
and has been
She's
to the
badass.
games now 3 times.
She's been
What,
twice as an
twice as an
individual
individual,
and
once
once
as a
on a
team.
team.
Yeah,
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
So what's that like, being a part of this like power couple who have both been to the games? So I think, how many times have husband wife been to the games at the same time?
There's been a few. Like I think like the dancers have done it. And then like Annie and her husband have done it. Although I don't know if they were like married at the time or whatever. But there's been like 3 or 4 that I know of that have done it. So it was really cool that we got to go and like be part of that like statistic and do that year. That was a crazy year too. Like the year we both qualified in 22, we got married like right before semifinals and then went and like competed like the next weekend. So haven't even like taken a honeymoon yet or anything like that. It was just straight to like the games basically. So that was a wild year for sure.
Yeah, that's right. She went into the competition season as Caroline Connors and then competed in the games as Caroline Spencer.
Yeah, and so they were going back and forth with what to call her. I think her jerseys and stuff might say Connor still for that year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see or if you noticed, but
Oh yeah.
I'm currently repping the 2022 semifinals edition Austin Spencer T-shirt. For those who might not know, every year Misfit Athletics puts out T-shirts sponsoring their athletes who make it to semifinals,
Yep.
where all of the proceeds help the athletes with travel, hotel stay, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so I
So
like to think that I at least had a little bit part of you
oh yeah.
qualifying for the
You paid
2022
for
games.
part of my like flight or hotel or something.
There you go. You're welcome. So early on, whenever you started getting into this and knew that it was a goal to get to the elite level, what was like the biggest challenge or change that you had to make in order to get to that point?
um so there were like a couple things. My strength wasn't super high to be like a competitive athlete. Like I had played like a lot of the sports that I played growing up, I just needed to be like fast and have good endurance. And I naturally had like muscle, so like I had like a lot of like power strength, like power cleans and power snatches and like sprinting and jumping and things like that I was good at already. But like I had like no squat strength. My pressing strength overhead was pretty weak. So it has taken me like even till now, like I'm still trying to get better and stronger in those areas. So strength was definitely a big one. Um, and then like the mental side of things was a big hurdle for me. Um, like being like a young like competitive CrossFitter, it felt like every workout that I did, I had to go like full steam ahead, just like, bang my head against the wall 1,000 times to try to get this workout done. So I'd like, it wasn't much pacing involved. There wasn't like any strategy or anything like that for the most part. And if there was, like, it probably just like, I probably didn't even do it right. Um, so I just made workouts hurt more than they probably needed to. And I think because of that, I developed like a fear of like going hard, I guess. So like in competition, especially like the open was like the most nerve-wracking 5 weeks of my life, like every single year. Like I would just be like a nervous wreck the whole time because I know how hard I have to go and like I'm probably gonna like throw up or whatever like at the end of every workout. Um, Even though that wasn't necessarily the case, I just like believed it so much that I think I held myself back for a few years before I finally kind of broke through that, and realized that I didn't need like I can go faster by going slower sometimes, and like I don't know, just being a little bit smarter in workouts and more strategic and stuff like that. And um, so that whole like mental side of things took a long time for me to like understand and develop. And once that did, things kind of started opening up for me in the competitive space, like finally making regionals and semis and eventually the games. So yeah,
Nice. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
it sure
We
is.
hear it all the time, but
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people truly understand what that means.
no. But I think you also have to feel like the other side of it. Like you do kind of have to go in the pain cave for sure. So you need to know where that's at so that you know where that line is that can be crossed or like when to hold back. And it's it's training versus competing and stuff like that. So
Right. There's always those workouts where you need to redline it, like
yes,
Fran or
yeah,
Grace or some of
exactly.
those. But
But for the
then,
most part, like you can't just go 100% in a 15-minute workout. It's just not going to work. So like you got to know like efficiency and pacing and strategy and stuff like that. Like it is true, like slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So
right. And I think you also have to know your strengths and where you can go fast and where
exactly.
you as a individual athlete might need to pull back a little bit. And
Right. And
if
that can definitely be the hard part when you're with other people that have the same goals, or like if you're competing in person, or even training partners can pull you into a bad direction sometimes. So you definitely have to be careful and know yourself a little bit.
put the blinders on,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Uh, so do you think that that's kind of like one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of CrossFitters that are looking to take that next step get into? Or what do you think one of those biggest challenges is that, like, from your, because you also coach as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
So, like, your viewpoint as a coach, what do you think most people looking to take that next step, what do they need to be focusing on the most?
So in my experience, like a lot of the people that have like wanted to get into competitive CrossFit have already been doing CrossFit for a little while, and like they started on a different like in a very different way than I did. Like when I started, it was like I found competitive CrossFit first, and I started kind of in that kind of mode and mindset. And I think a lot of people start in like their normal like affiliate classes and stuff. And um, so I think honestly, I feel like the hardest part for them is actually learning how to bring intensity into workouts. And like I think it's easy to like just kind of coast through workouts without even realizing you're coasting. People just like they do their workout for the day in class and they move on to the next thing or whatever. So I think learning how to like truly like bring intensity. And as we were saying, like that doesn't necessarily mean like you have to go like 110% for a 15 or 20-minute workout. Like it's just knowing like where you need to push and how to gain advantages in workouts. And I think that's one of the harder things for people who are looking to get into the competitive space to do is like actually like bring that heat a little bit, and know what actually needs to be done in order to put up like competitive times, like little things, like transitions between movements and like how to get in and out of the rower quickly, or like messing with your grips too long or chalking, like those little like competitive advantages actually matter. So I think that's like a big one. And then knowing where to put your extra energy. So like if you're looking to be competitive, you probably can't just do class by itself anymore. You can certainly do class as part of your training day, but you need to know like where you need to make up ground. So it's important to like look at you know the where the field is at. And actually I heard this the other day, like Travis Mayer, who's like he's been to the games a bunch of times. He was talking about how it's super easy to find out how fit you need to be to go to the games. Like there's data everywhere, so like you literally can look up like what people are snatching, clean and jerking, squatting, like what their times on these events are. You can do those things and compare yourself and know where you're lacking, where your strengths are, and like use that. So I think there's a ton of data out there to just like find, use that to like get better. And so I think like me as a coach, like I can help guide you in that direction, you know?
Oh, I love that. I don't think I've ever heard that data point
Yeah. Well,
before.
it's
Like,
like, I
that's
mean,
super smart.
so CrossFit is like relatively like a new sport compared to other ones. And the way CrossFit is like, taught and developed is everything is measurable, so like literally everything we do, there are times, there are weights, there are uh you know just scores in general everywhere. It's all data points, and so all you have to do, like, it's easier said than done. Like, it's points on paper. You can see where you need to be. It's not easy to get there, but you know exactly what you have to be able to do to qualify for semifinals or the games, or even get to like quarterfinals. You can go look at what people are getting in the top 25% in your region for the open, and figure out like what you need to do to also get to that level or past it, because everyone's getting fitter every year.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of the open quarterfinals and semifinals, you got to experience all of them.
hmm
How did you feel about the competitive season through those first three phases?
Um, so as far as like the stages go, I actually really enjoyed the workouts that were programmed for this year. I thought they were programmed pretty well. It was a lot of like it seems like we got back to traditional CrossFit for the most part. And like that's what we all want to do anyway. Like all the fancy stuff like crossover, like jump rope crossovers, and like just weird things like that. I think is unnecessary, and it like brings in like another, like, I don't think you should never do it, but like in certain tests like these, like I just feel like just testing your capacity in simple CrossFit is not a bad way to go. And you could see like from the open, we started with burpees and a 50-pound dumbbell. Like it was super simple, but that workout still hurt pretty bad. All the way to semifinals, where we're now squatting 225 pounds 50 times in a workout, along with double unders, toes to bar, and all that stuff. Like it's still simple CrossFit. It just, things get harder because we can do them heavier, we can do them faster for longer periods of time, or whatever it is. So I thought the programming was really good, like compared to like last year or whatever. I liked it a lot more. Um, but as far as like my season goes, like this was it was an interesting year for me, like, or really interesting 2 years. So after 2022, like I came away with like some um I mean, I don't know if I'd call them injuries, but just like nagging like pain that I've had. Um, Starting with like I had like a groin pull, and then like wrist pain and shoulder pain and knee pain and all this stuff. And um, I realized that I might need to take like a full year off of like really training to be competitive. So in 23, I did the open and I did quarterfinals, and I was close to qualifying for semis. But even if I had qualified, like I would not have been able to do anything significant. Like it was just hurting my body just to bring any type of intensity into working out, and I couldn't lift very heavy because of my knee and hip and all that stuff. So um, coming into this season, I felt like I was starting to build some momentum, like things were getting better. Um, but we had a lot going on in our lives too. Like we moved from Maine to Virginia in October, which was a big change. And we were also considering going team for the season. So like I didn't have like individual aspirations for this year. Like I thought we were going team. And so my training, while it was like I was still training, a good amount. Like I did an off-season competition and I won, and like things seemed to be going well, but it was like up and down in waves. Like I would feel good for a few weeks, and then like I would feel like crap for a few weeks. Like all the pain would start coming back, and so I'd have to like come like back off a little bit. So everything just seemed very inconsistent. And then on top of just life things with a move and new job and stuff like that. So um I didn't know what the season was going to hold, but at the same time I was kind of like excited to just kind of go into it having fun. So I went into the open, just we overall like decided not to do team. Um, I so like Alec, who was going to be our other guy on the team, Alex Smith, he was dealing with some hip issues as well. Caroline was really kind of like itching to go individual again. And then I was applying to be a firefighter here in Virginia. And I knew that if I got in, I probably wouldn't be able to go to the games because I would be starting the fire academy at the same time. So with all those reasons, we just decided individual is probably the better route to go. And so we just kind of like went for it. We started training a little bit more specifically for the individual stuff, and I was starting to feel like pretty decent. And yeah, just kind of took off from there. So I made it through to semis and went to semis knowing that even if I qualified, I probably couldn't go to the games. So that took some pressure off of me to just go and like have some fun with it and see what I can do. And yeah, ended up, I didn't do the best at semis for sure, but it was a fun experience and not no regrets there.
That's awesome. So you talked about like some injuries and things like that, and I'm sure that each step along the way kind of poses its own problems and kind of certain things that you need to do to prepare. Like, for example, the open workouts are a week
Yep.
apart from each other. The quarters finals workouts, you have whatever it is, 4 days to complete those certain workouts versus the semifinals. Like, you have to do, what was it, like 3 events per day?
Yeah, this year is actually a little bit different. We had one event on Friday and then two on Saturday and three on Sunday.
Right.
So they kind of like ramped up the volume.
So
3 days
what
straight, yeah.
what kinds of different things do you have to focus on, or do you focus on in each step along the way to make sure that you're as successful as possible?
So the open is definitely the easiest one. um, because like my body tends to respond better to like lower volume training anyway. Being able to just come into the gym on a Friday and just focus on like one single workout, just do that and I can be done for the day. Was really nice. So like I feel like I can spend the time warming up and mobilizing and doing the things that I need to do to kind of like get the blood flowing, and really hit the workout hard, and then also be able to recover before next week's workout. Right? That was really nice. So I felt good during the open. Quarterfinals definitely became more of a challenge. Like you have to do one or two workouts a day, potentially with redos in there, and you only have that 4 or 5 day window to do it. So while I still have like the whole day to pretty much like work around in terms of when I do the workout and how long I have between workouts if I'm doubling up and stuff like that. It definitely makes it easy to feel prepared and recovered for those workouts. And because it's competition, like I probably do better at preparing and recovering in those situations than I do in my everyday training, which is something that I'm trying to get better at. Um, and then semis is interesting. Like I rely a ton on like momentum and adrenaline. So there's not a whole lot of like I don't spend a lot of extra time doing like stretching and exercises and stuff like that. Like I'm really just like I'm warming up the best I can, like physically getting like sweating before warming up specifically for a workout. And then I warm up the movements specifically like for snatches or front squats or toes bar, whatever it is. Like just specifically warming up for that workout and getting it done, and then doing everything I can to just like relax, like expend no energy afterwards, eat a bunch of food, sleep, and then do it again. So there's actually a lot less like of the extra stuff that I do when I'm at semis, which probably bites me. Like I'm hurting now, like a week out from it. But um, yeah, no, it's a different approach than it is when I'm just doing like online workouts at home.
For sure. But resting and recovering is definitely an important aspect
Yeah,
between any workouts, no matter how far apart they are.
yeah, for sure.
Did you have a favorite workout between the open, quarterfinals, semifinals?
Um, And now I have to remember them all. So let's see, the burpee dumbbell one was like very simple, and that was like right up my alley. That was a sweet workout. Um, Quarterfinals,
Rowing, deadlift, double unders,
yeah, that one wasn't super fun. It was just
thrust,
long. That was like 20 minutes. Yeah,
chest to bar,
yeah. Also, that
heavier
one
thrusters, muscle
that
ups.
one was a disaster.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. Like I came in and like I think I was kind of nervous for that one, and when I get nervous, I have a hard time eating. So like I don't think I had a good breakfast. And then I went to get coffee with a friend, and this coffee just hit me so hard. Like I just got like a cold brew, and I was so jittery. Like we were talking like at the coffee shop for over an hour, and then I just went to the gym and started warming up, and I just felt like I don't know, like this out of body like experience. Like I couldn't control my muscles like that I normally do. Just felt really I felt off, but I just thought I was nervous. So
Somebody
um,
drug your coffee.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Um, but yeah, so I got into that workout, and like the first part of that workout was a trap for sure. Like people went too fast and then just fell apart. And um I think I like kind of fell into the trap, but like not really, because like still when you're trying to be like an elite athlete, like you do have to push it a little bit. So I went through it and I did the first part relatively fast, and then like within literally the first set of thrusters at the 135 bar, I just like was dead. So like I was like I could barely see, I could barely stand up straight like during that workout. It looked like I was drunk. It was crazy. So I just kind of like bombed that workout. Um and like if you looked on the leaderboard, like you could see it. Like I did pretty well in the first two workouts, and then my score just like went way down on the third one. But it's the open, and I just needed to be top 25%. So it wasn't bad enough to like kick me out. It was just like, I don't know what happened there. So that was
Yeah, well,
definitely not my favorite workout.
I think that's the workout that I don't know if you saw that he posted it or not, but I think Pat Vellner, the first time he did it, completely bombed.
Yeah.
Like was
Yeah.
barely able to finish because he redlined it too much too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like that combination of like, I don't know, the caffeine, not having like a good breakfast, and then just being nervous, like my heart rate just went through the roof, and I could not settle back down. It was too late. And I was not about to like do that workout twice. So just let it go. But
How about out of the quarters finals workouts?
so the quarterfinals, what do we have for that? We had the clean and jerks, we had the like gymnastics one with like the handstand push-ups and muscle ups and rope climbs.
Yep. 50 burpee box jump overs, 50 wall
Oh,
balls.
and the wall balls, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And
there was
then
one more, right?
it was a minute stations, rowing
Oh, the rowing
calories,
snatches and step
snatches,
ups.
step
Yes,
ups.
with all the controversy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so honestly, like I think I like the wall ball burpee one the best. I'm not typically like the best at wall balls, and that workout sucked. It was so hard, but I'm the most proud of how I did in that workout. Like I strategized really well, like literally like talking about like what we were talking about before, like having a strategy and sticking to it, and not just going big on the sets of wall balls because you're fresh in the first round and can. Like I dialed in my strategy on that workout and stuck to it and smashed it. Like I did so well in that workout, and it hurt so bad, but like I just did not deviate from the plan. And when I was done, my time was like 90 seconds faster than I thought I was going to go. And yeah, so well, that workout hurt. Like that was the hardest workout of quarterfinals. Um, I was super proud of that one. So that actually might be like my favorite workout of like all three. Like
Nice.
I thought it was really well programmed, and yeah, it was a good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you looked in the zone for workout 3, I think it was, for
The rope climb,
semifinals.
the rope
Like this
climb
rope
one.
climb,
Yeah.
box jump over.
Yeah, that one was interesting. Like I definitely came out a little bit hot. Um, but at the same time, like I don't regret it because um sometimes like I feel depending on the workout, like it's good for me to get a little bit of a lead, knowing that I might fall off pace a little bit and just can have that buffer. Where like in these workouts specifically at semis this year, I felt like if you got behind early, you just could not. There was not enough time to catch up, you know. And I knew I could like really hammer that workout, so I just kind of like went hard from the beginning and try to hold on the best I could. And I did start falling off pace, and one guy in my heat ended up passing me. Um, but I mean, that guy was crazy fit. He ended up like almost qualifying for the games. I think it was like a good showing. And I don't know that if I had started out a little bit slower that I would have done any better, you know. So that was a pretty. I knew that was going to be like one of my best workouts of the weekend, and I was already not in a great spot on the leaderboard, so I just kind of went for it. I think the guys that were like top 5 in that workout were doing my pace from round 1 like the whole time, without falling off. So that just shows like I kind of needed to do that if I wanted to put up a good score.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
yeah,
a good point though. Like you said earlier, this year in all of the programming, like there wasn't anything crazy,
right.
like crossovers or like there wasn't any movement that an athlete might not have been able to kind of like figure out
Yeah.
to kind
Everything
of
was
like
very
detri it
doable.
was all very doable. It was classic CrossFit,
Mhm.
and it just kind of goes to show you like how freaking fit
Yeah.
some of these people are. Like,
It was crazy. Like so we moved down to Virginia. We're at CrossFit Krypton now, and so I get to train with like Ben Smith almost every day. And while we're not necessarily doing the same programming, because he kind of does his own thing, um, and I'm following like Misfit athletic stuff still. But every once in a while we'll do workouts together, or like obviously when the semis workouts came out, we were testing those workouts, and like we were like both like very close in all of our workouts. Even like semifinals weekend, like we were pretty much like next to each other on the leaderboard the whole weekend.
yeah, even
We
that first workout, you
Yeah,
guys were almost like entering the building and getting back to the
yeah, it was
clean and
wild. It
jerk
was
bar
like
like at
literally
the
like we
same
were just
time.
doing the workout together. Yeah. Um, but we felt like really fit. We felt good going into it. And then we started seeing the times that people are putting up in other regions and realizing like how fast you actually need to go. And like we were both like 90 seconds faster than in practice on that run, clean and jerk workout. Same thing with the front squat workout. We were faster. Um, and people were just so fit this year. Like it's insane. So like to get to that level is one thing, but to be like at the top of that level, especially in the East region, is just it's like it has to be like your life, and your body has to be willing to put up with that type of training, which that's the hard part for me, honestly.
Do you think, looking back on stuff, do you think that there was anything throughout the entire season that you could have done differently to put yourself in a better position?
Um, I don't know. So I don't know if it was like just in the cards for me this year with the way my body has been. I mean, it just feels like it's just beat up, like from just my whole life of playing sports and stuff. And I think like I'm 31, so I'm kind of like on the older side of like competitive CrossFit athletes. Like I still have a few good years in me for sure. Like I'm not old, but like I have to be more like cognizant of like how I'm training and recovering and doing all that. And um I certainly struggle with doing like going the extra mile in my training to do the little things like the exercises and mobility and all that kind of stuff to keep my body healthy. So looking back, like I certainly could have done more to help with that. The problem is like I get, you get a little bit of FOMO if you miss a workout, and I have 2 part-time jobs, so like I'm obviously like working my schedule in so that I can train and get all my training volume in while working at the same time. So, I'm not a full-time athlete, so I can't just spend all day going to get like massages and body work done, doing mobility training and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think I did what I could do, and I'm happy with how the season turned out. But I also think that I'm on a good track to continue getting better. Like I'm feeling better than I have in 2 years. So um, I don't know that there's much that I could have changed to make this year to do better on in semis than I did.
What do you attribute to feeling that good?
Um, I mean, I took a long time off of being competitive. Like I took basically like a full year of like not like training like a real athlete. Like I was doing some training, but the volume wasn't very high, and I took rest days when I needed them, and just let my body rest for a while. And then now like I just know when it's like okay to like ramp volume up for training, and when I can kind of like when I need to back off a little bit, and my body tends to react positively when I listen to it that way. Um, but then also just like I get help from you. I get help from a couple friends at the gym, just in terms of like giving me advice on like how to take care of certain things. So like I have very specific aches and pains, and I kind of know now what I need to do to keep them. Um, I guess like it's almost like I kind of keep them at bay while I'm training. The problem is like I haven't fully healed these things. Like I feel like I should be walking around every day and like be able to do an air squat without my knees hurting, but we're not quite there yet. However, I definitely know what I need to do to warm up and cool down well enough to hit a workout hard without pain. Like, so when I'm warmed up and I'm good to go, I have all these exercises that I've gotten from like you and friends and whatever that help me with that. So that definitely um, keeps my training like at a pretty high level.
Love that. Out of all of your time competing since, would you say 2012?
Yeah, pretty much. 2013 was my first. I think
Yeah, so like
2013 was my first open.
12 years now. Do you have like a most memorable or favorite moment from competing?
Um, Yeah, there's a few very like memorable moments. The first time I qualified for regionals was pretty crazy. The last workout of the open that year was like the descending ladder of burpees and thrusters. Like 20, it was like 27 down to like 6 or something ridiculous by like 3 reps. It was brutal. And like I knew that I had to do well in that workout to qualify for regionals, and I was so nervous, like as usual. And I got that workout done, and I knew that I crushed it, but I also just started puking after. Like I never throw up in workouts, and like I threw up a lot. It was like, and it was like neon green because I was like for whatever reason like self sabotage drinking like kombucha that morning or something.
So it literally looked like Pukey the Clown.
Yeah, it was gross. Um, but like I crushed the workouts, and like my coach was just like he was convinced that that was enough to get me into regionals, and so that was a really big moment. Um, and then man, there's honestly like there's a lot of good memories. Well, one of the craziest ones was actually when Caroline first qualified for the games. We were competing at Granite Games in 2021. And the way they did it was like the girls would finish their final workout, and then they would announce who qualified for the games. And then the guys would go, like the final heat of the guys would go after that. And then like once that workout's done, they announced the guys. And so what happened was like she's doing her workout, and she had to like beat a certain person to qualify for the games. And I can't watch because I'm warming up and getting ready for my event. And so I just all I can do is listen to the announcers and stuff. And so we're in the corral waiting to go on the field to do our last event, and they announced that she had qualified for the CrossFit Games, and I instantly started crying. Like I was in the corral with all the other guys and judges and all that stuff, and I just start like crying because she qualified. And only a couple of them knew like why I was crying because they knew who I was and that she was my wife and stuff. Um, and it was ridiculous. So literally, like we're walking out onto the field now in a line, and I'm just have tears like falling down my eyes or my face, and like we had to start on the rower, and I'm still crying like as we're rowing to start the workout. It was absurd. So that was a really like it was a cool memory, but just like a crazy memory of like when she first qualified. Um, and then on like the last one would just be when I first qualified. It was a crazy story too. It was like I got 6th place at Atlas Games in 22, and the dude ahead of me, like we find out like 2 or 3 weeks later that he ends up testing positive for PEDs or whatever. And so I got a call, like I was just in the kitchen by myself at home. I got a call about that and getting invited to the CrossFit Games. And it was just like the craziest thing. And um, I was just like by myself, like freaking out at home. And like Caroline ended up calling me because apparently everyone knew before I did because it was all over social media and I wasn't on Instagram. So it was just like people knew and like it was just like that was wild. So I literally went in like that night and did um like a CrossFit triathlon training piece to get back into training. So yeah, just some crazy stuff has happened in the past 12 years, but it's been fun.
That's awesome. So, what's in the future for Austin? You mentioned uh, applying to be a firefighter down in Virginia.
Yep. So that's the next big thing right now. You know, CrossFit competing in CrossFit is like just fun for me now. So like I train and compete for fun. I'm not trying to win the CrossFit games. The fire department is very much like that's like the next big step in my life. So as of like last week, I got a job offer from Virginia Beach. So that's this like I applied to 3 different cities and I got offers from all 3, but I'm going to go with Virginia Beach. And so the academy for that starts in July. So I got a little bit of like my own summer vacation going on right now that semis is over. And I'll be in the academy for 6 or 7 months. And then that's right about the time that like next season starts for CrossFit. So I'm not exactly sure what my fitness is going to look like. If I can keep up with some fitness and strength and stuff like that, then we might go team next year. But I'm just going to take it year by year. Like if I have the time and the will to really try to go for it again, like I would like to go to the games as an individual one more time. Um, but we'll see because I don't know. Like it takes a lot of work to do that, and if I can like get my body cooperating the way I know it can, then maybe I'll go for it in like 2 years. But I think next year is a little bit of a wash. Like I'm just focused on the fire department and getting through the academy there and starting my new career, and then we'll just see what happens, basically. So
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
thanks.
Functional fitness at its finest in the
Yeah,
fire department,
yeah. CrossFit and firefighting go hand in hand.
no doubt. I'm sure you're going to crush it.
Yeah, yeah. That'll be
And
good.
I will be excited to continue watching your competition as a CrossFitter as well. Any other closing remarks?
No, I just want to, thank you for giving me the time to be on your podcast and chat a little bit. It's always fun catching up.
Well, I appreciate you being here and telling us your story.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thanks, Austin.
Yeah, man. Thank you.